My name is Lean Tran Layton, and I'm a practicing immigration attorney in the United States. And I'm an immigrant myself. Throughout my life and career, I've had the privilege of meeting people from all over the world who have immigrated to the United States. And I've heard some amazing stories, and I want you to hear them too. These stories will make you feel a range of emotions, but most of all, I hope you will be left feeling inspired. Welcome to the Immigrant Voice. If you like what you've been hearing on this podcast, share it with others and leave us a comment or review wherever you're listening to it. Also, remember to subscribe so you can hear our upcoming episodes. So my next guest, it's a husband and wife, and I've actually known the wife for several years now through my husband, and she got married to somebody from the United Kingdom, and they recently went through the whole process. So it should be very fresh in their mind. So I'm excited for them to tell you guys what their experience was like, what kind of emotions they were feeling, and then, of course, to learn a little bit about his experience here as an immigrant to the U.S. So why don't you two both introduce yourselves, tell the listeners what state you live in.
So we're Miranda and Johnny, and we live in Connecticut.
So how did you two meet?
You want me to tell the story?
You tell it best, darling.
All right. So I was on vacation with my girlfriend in New Orleans in August 2016, and we were staying at this cute little hotel right off of Bourbon Street, like around the corner, and it was our very last day there, so we decided to just hang by the pool. And then Johnny and his two friends came in, and they were checking into the hotel for one night, but they came by the pool, so my friend that I was with is a chatty person, so she like makes friends with everyone. So she was chatting them up, and I was just kind of like doing my own thing at the other end of the pool. So eventually, like, I made my way towards them, and we all introduced each other, and then we ended up realizing we were staying on the same floor. So we ended up meeting them out for drinks later that night, and we went to we kind of knew by that time like where the good spots were to get for the live music and some live dancing and stuff. So we kind of jumped around a little bit and just had a blast that night. And the next day, they were leaving to continue on to they were taking a road trip. So they were off to Texas after that. And my friend and I were flying home. So, we exchanged numbers and Facebooks and all that and just kind of kept in touch. And
the rest is history.
Yeah. And then 6 months later, we actually kind of redid the trip where my girlfriend and I went over to England, and it was the same, Johnny's same friends that were there too. So we went to the Lake District and just kind of tried to find out if it was still for real in person. Cause through FaceTime and just the 6 months was good, but then we were like, what if we get together and we don't really like each other?
Right.
So we kind of made it another holiday, so it wasn't as much pressure.
When did you guys get serious? When you were like, okay,
probably right after that, I would say
maybe October.
We felt something,
yeah,
and we kind of both made the decision to try and just nothing happened when we were in New Orleans.
Okay, who's gonna move where?
I think we had a lot of conversations about it because, Johnny had kind of always wanted to move here. Mm-hmm. And so I think we started having the conversation,
I think quite early on, because I traveled to the US a bit. My parents used to have a place in Florida, so I used to come over and play golf with my buddies and had a few family holidays there. So luckily I'd experienced a bit of American life and I liked everything I'd seen. Mm-hmm. But I think we decided quite early on, not that we were going to decide on America. We were lucky enough to be able to travel every 3 months. We would see each other. One would come one way and one would go the other. And we both just, I think from very early on, just discussed what we liked about the countries that we were visiting. And I guess it just progressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I could definitely see myself living in England. My biggest thing was I wasn't ready to leave my job. So, and Johnny was he had been in his career for 14 years and he was kind of maybe I need to change anyway. And I think he was kind of feeling he was ready for a change, like out of his hometown too. So it was kind of like, even though like the conversation started early on, there was many conversations over time.
There's
about
a lot
like
of back and
different
forth.
options.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth.
Was it a hard decision to say, okay, Jonny, you're going to come to the US?
Was it? I don't know.
Was it, did you guys agree on it ultimately? Or was it like
absolutely.
a kind of a battle?
Yeah. No, I think like I kind of had it in my mind that he wanted to come here, I think.
Yeah.
Not that I was opposed to going there, but I was terrified. And of course, I'm sure he was scared too. But
I think one of the things that made it easier for me was my brother lives in New Jersey. So I knew that he was going to only be a couple of hours away. So I at least had some connection to the US. Whereas if Miranda had come to the UK, it would have all been fresh for her. And like she said, she loved her job. She loved her friends. And I don't think she was ready to leave that. And as much as I love my friends and my family back home, they were all already willing for me to like move forward and to try something new.
So they were all very supportive.
So absolutely, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
nice.
So that kind of made it an easy decision.
And what did you both know about the immigration process to the US before you even started anything? Like, did you guys do a lot of research? I know, Miranda, you and I had a conversation about it, a while back before you guys had gotten engaged, I think. And so, what did you guys know about the process?
I knew very little. I actually had a student who was going through the process. That student would tell me things about what they were going through, but it was a completely different situation. So it sounded very difficult. And then when I started researching on government websites, it was really confusing because you click on one thing and then it takes you to a whole nother page. And then you have a whole nother list of stuff you have to read through. And then you have to click on another thing. So it was just overwhelming, really overwhelming.
Yeah. And I can see that being very overwhelming. Like, obviously, if I wasn't an immigration attorney, I would be like, I have no idea, because it's very fragmented, like all the information. And so it is confusing for sure.
On my part, thankfully, my brother had gone through the same thing 10 years earlier. So although no doubt things had changed, he had already kind of informed me of the fact that I would have to go to the embassy in London. I would have to go and have an interview. I would have to submit evidence to support our relationship. So he'd kind of given me a heads up of kind of what to expect, although it was still very daunting and there was a lot of information. But yeah, I had a little bit of information ahead of time. So I felt like that benefited me for sure.
Right. You, Jonny, you went through the fiancé visa process.
Yeah.
Did you guys look into the fiancé route and the spouse route? And how did you decide to come to the decision of doing the fiancé visa?
We actually looked at a lot of different options. We looked at also the employment visas because doing long distance, obviously you're not taking a gamble, I guess, but we knew our relationship was strong, but we were trying not to just get married for the sake of being together. So we tried to explore the other options of me coming over on employment. And then we realized really I didn't go to university. I went to college, and I'd done 13 years experience in a trade, but that wasn't enough to qualify me for employment. So it wasn't the fact that we then just looked for the next best thing. We were at the position where we thought, we're going to get married anyway. We both knew it in our hearts.
Right.
Then we just decided, do you know what? Why don't we look at the fiancé visa and see how it will work? And we did check out both options, but again, Miranda was happier here, and we just started to research the US fiancé visa.
We were also getting to the point in our relationship where we just wanted to like be together. We just wanted to like go out on dates. Like every time we saw each other, it was like, I think the longest I went over was for a whole summer. And I mean, that was great because it was 7 weeks. So we really got a chance to actually like live together and figure out like how it was, but I wasn't working still and he was working. And we were traveling. So it was almost like we needed that everyday reality to like know too, like if we could actually be with each other for forever.
Yeah.
So I think we would try to do like normal things when we saw each other, but there's definitely a lot of conversation about.
Well, absolutely. I mean, because it's not a decision to make lightly, obviously. And we went back and forth many a times. And with Miranda's job and her friends, we just figured, why not? Let's look into it. So we just wanted to find the best way we could get together, basically. And ultimately, I mean, that's what you are making. You're taking a leap of faith that everything is going to work out in the end. And thankfully for us, it really did.
Yeah.
Everything turned out great and everything went smoothly. But ultimately at the beginning, you've just got to go with your heart and follow what you think is going to be right.
Yeah, I think when we looked into the spousal visa, it was like it could take like a year to 2. So it was longer than what we were hoping for. So we were also looking for like, what's the quickest way we could make this work?
Right.
That does. I mean, it doesn't sound great that we were looking for the quickest option, but I suppose.
But it was more to be together, not
right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know, we weren't like, oh, we just want to get married just so we can be together. We, over time, like we love each other. We, you know, and we just decided, you know, are we fighting this for any good reason? Like, or is it just the best option for us? And then eventually it just became the best option for us.
Yeah. For the listeners, the fiancé visa, the spouse visa, I would say pre-pandemic, usually the fiancé visa is a faster process than the spouse visa as far as being able to be together sooner. Another thing to keep in mind too is with the fiancé visa, you can't really plan a set wedding date because it's going to be dependent on when you actually get the visa. Whereas obviously with the spouse visa, you have to get married first before you go through the process. So if you wanted more predictability as far as like, I need to set a wedding date, then a spouse visa might be the better option.
Yeah. When I was trying to plan the wedding here, it was small. It was only 50 guests, 50 total, including us. So we knew it was going to be like a small thing. So I actually was like, I have a window of time. Luckily that was okay with them.
Yeah, thankfully.
But yeah, it's not easy. I was stressing a little bit. Even a small wedding is stressful to plan when you don't really have like a set time frame.
Yeah. So once the process starts, so you said, okay, we're going to do the fiancé visa and you file the petition for it. What was it like for you guys kind of going through all of that?
So we were talking about this. One of the best things we did was get you as our lawyer because it just took a lot of the pressure off, knowing that there was someone checking over, making sure like we were doing things correctly and not missing anything.
Yeah.
And you just made it like really easy. So that was a relief.
Yeah. And that's one thing I definitely would tell anybody going through the process is just to hire an immigration lawyer because there's so many aspects to it. And I was just nervous, even though I knew you were submitting everything for us, you just like kind of sitting back and just waiting for these things to come through and some sort of recognition that everything's gone smoothly. And we were just nervous as hell the whole way through it because at any point they could have turned around and said we needed more information or we'd missed something, so we had to start again. And it's kind of that just builds up. And although I think you told us from the very beginning, just keep an eye on like the processing times, that's what we were doing. And we were literally just watching those times and thinking, right, well, it should be coming soon. It should be. That was nervous. That was really nervous. And I'm sure anyone going through the same process would feel the same thing. The processing times were pretty much spot on, pretty accurate from the day we submitted, but it just still feels like forever.
Yeah, it feels like it takes forever.
Yeah.
The wait was tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely made the whole thing so easy because
good. I'm glad to hear that.
you and your staff just constantly kept us updated. Every time something was submitted, you kept us informed. And that just took a weight off our shoulders because we thought, well, at least we know it's done properly. Everything's been signed. It's all been checked. And we're good to go. And we knew that although we were waiting and waiting and waiting, we knew that it was all going to be okay.
Well, good. I'm very glad to hear that. I know it is usually a very stressful process for people, and it's the waiting. I think that's what gets people the most, is just the waiting, and it's very unpredictable nowadays with everything going on.
Exactly. So, put faith in the system and know that you just got to trust in it and know that it's going to come through eventually. Although it doesn't feel like it, it will.
Yes, it's patience.
It is, exactly.
Patient.
Yeah.
So, Jonny, obviously your fiancé visa got approved. So the petition got approved. And then eventually you went to the consulate to get interviewed.
Yeah.
So tell the listeners what that was like.
That was the most nervous day of my life, other than actually getting married. It just felt like that was a accumulation of probably 18 months worth of investment work. It's not an easy situation, but really it's not that bad. It really isn't that bad when you get there. The best thing I did was take your advice, and I literally had everything documented in order. All my files were organized, and that's the best thing I could advise anyone to do, is just to have everything organized, because I was reading stories and I was following online immigration stories from the same fiancé visas. They were turning up and they were getting asked for a form and they hadn't filled it out, and that was it. They had to go around and come back another day. So it was a really stressful time. I felt like I'd prepared for numerous weeks before, making sure all the forms were filled, had everything documented and lined up, ready to go. But it's a stressful time. It's, for me, as an English person, none of the police carry guns over in the UK. As soon as you get to the embassy, everyone's armed and they're very on guard. So that was a bit daunting for me. I mean, I've traveled to US airports, so I had an idea that that's what it was going to be like, but it's still a bit daunting when you get into that embassy and there's a lot of armed guards everywhere, and you've got to give your fingerprints, go through scanners like you would in the airport. But it's very organized. As long as you've got everything documented, you hand them a form and they tell you where to go. There's no misdirection in there. They'll tell you exactly where to go and stand and go and sit. And yeah, it's a daunting process because you're getting interviewed for what could potentially change your life.
Yeah.
But honestly, the people I spoke with were really friendly, very welcoming, and there's nothing to be afraid of whatsoever. You just, if you go in there with the correct documentation, everything planned, there's nothing to worry about.
Did they ask you a lot of questions?
No.
Yeah, because we printed out like all the questions, and I think there was like 70 on the sheet that you gave us. And he would like make me quiz him. And he couldn't remember what kind of car I drove, and I was like, well, I'm not going to ask you that. But yeah, he was nervous going in, but then I remember he said once he got out of there, he was like, they didn't even really ask me a whole lot of stuff. So
no, I feel like I can't comment exactly, but they seem to ask more questions to the people who are unorganized than the people who are organized. So every time they asked me for a form, because I'd had it all tabbed and ready to go, I just handed it straight over. And they asked me the questions about Miranda, but it was basically just about her work. I had everything ready to go, so they didn't seem to quiz me. Whereas like a couple of people down, I could hear them getting quite in depth in the questioning because they were frustrated and they didn't have paperwork ready or they were missing stuff. So I feel like, again, if you're organized, I feel like they know that you're what's the word? Prepared,
right,
and organized and ready, and they seem to go easier on those people who are well prepared.
Yeah, and attorneys aren't allowed in those interviews at the consulates, and so the only way I know what happened is if I ask the person, what kind of questions did they ask and things like that. So you go into you go through security, you go sit down and wait, and then you get called, right, by an officer. And what did it look like? Was it like, did you go into an office, or was it more like a bank? And there's just like,
Yeah, I would say, I mean, the London Embassy is huge. I mean, it was just being redone, so it is a brand new building when I went. You go out into the main floor, and it's like, the closest I would say over here is probably the DMV, but on a mass scale. But the immigration was actually in a separate part of that building. So there was all this hubbub of people obviously visiting the consulate. And then the immigration was actually around a separate area, and it was really quiet. But it was like a mix between an airport waiting area, a departure lounge. So all that seating just laid out, and then banked teller stalls. So there wasn't individual rooms. It was just glass windows with barriers up either side, and then individuals with numbers. And when you first go in, they give you a number piece of paper like you would if you were at the deli counter, and then they call you up to a window, and that's it. And then you hand your documentation. They'll ask you a couple of questions, and then they take the documentation from you, go and examine that, so you actually go and sit back down. And then they call you back up for another interview towards the end.
How long do you think the interview was?
3 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was quick. I was amazed at how quick it was, because when you first come out the elevator into the main office, there was hundreds of people, and I was thought, oh, okay, I'm going to be here hours. And then one of the guys was like, no, your immigration's around the corner. Went round there, and there was 4 people. And I literally sat down for about 20 seconds, and I got called straight up to hand my documentation over, handed that over, swore the oath, and then sat back down. And then it probably was 2 minutes later, they called me straight back up to another window, and they asked me 3-4 questions, and that was it. And that was it done. And I was like, okay. All that stress for nothing.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. I feel like a lot of times when my clients get out of interviews, whether it's here in the US or at the consulate, they're usually like, oh, that was easy. Okay, that wasn't that bad. It wasn't that scary.
I was so stressed. Like, I don't think I slept the night before because I was just so worried. I mean, it's like our future life is hanging in the balance. Yeah. And I thought if I say something wrong, I'm not going to get in. They're going to deny me. And it's like all that pressure's building on you. So I was really nervous. And I'm not great doing interviews anyway. So I was really nervous. But they just made it easy.
So then so you got approved. And then how long after was it until you came to the US?
2 weeks. I think I waited. So I got approved on the day. Everything went smoothly, so they approved me on the day and said that I would receive my immigration package within 10 working days, I think it was. It might have even been less than that. So I had already finished work, and I had pre-made flight plans just given off the 10-day window. So we literally waited. I was just sat, I had everything. All my bags were packed. Everything was ready to go, and I just sat waiting for the mail to come. Once I had that immigration document, and I think it was less than a week. I think I went for the interview on a Friday, and I had the immigration packet by the following Wednesday. So it wasn't a long wait.
Yeah, so that must have been quite exciting, obviously, for that to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you're like, okay, this is actually real. Like, oh my gosh, this is actually really happening. So what was that like when you got off the plane, and like, what were you feeling at that time?
I was overwhelmed, honestly, because I think I'd had 3 or 4 leaving parties. All my guys, my family were throwing me parties left, right, and center. And as much as I love them, and I have some great friends, I just couldn't wait to get here to be with Miranda. And it was just that anticipation, just waiting. I was just chomping at the bit, waiting to get this document through the post so I could book the flight and finally get over. And it was just it was just pure excitement. I mean, I've never traveled first class in my life. So, of course, I was like, well, I'm leaving my home country for probably the rest of my life, so I'm going to book first class. So I bumped up and paid first class and had an incredible flight over. And then as soon as I got off the plane, obviously the emotion hit me. I was bawling my eyes out as soon as I saw her. And then, lo and behold, she has 30-odd people holding signs up behind her, welcoming me to the country. So, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better welcome to the country, honestly. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But it was just pure joy, just excitement for the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, all this effort, money, time, investment in each other, and we finally got to the point of being together, and it was, no better feeling in the world.
Yeah, and I remember seeing on Facebook the cute video, and it was very sweet. It was super sweet.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. So then you come in, and then you have 90 days to get married. So people, if you're applying for a fiancé visa, once you get it and you arrive in the US, you need to get married within 90 days. So at that point, Miranda, you had obviously had stuff planned as much as you could, right?
Yep. I pretty much had everything ready to go. You had come over.
I think I came over in the November before, because the timeline kind of suggested it was going to come through around January. So I came across for Thanksgiving the December before, November before.
I can't remember exactly when it was, but we had actually gone to where we were getting married. We had gone there for our not our anniversary dinner, our engagement dinner, and we just like fell in love with it. So then at another point when he had come back to visit, his parents were here too, and so we ended up going with them just to show them where it was, and just to kind of like make it more real, you know. I just tried to have everything as much as I could ready to go, and Jonny was trying to help from the UK before he came over, but obviously, like, can't make phone calls from there. So,
well, you can, but it's limited.
Yeah,
but she did a great job. We fell in love with the venue, and we told them that we kind of didn't really have an exact date. We had an idea of when it might be, so they were really good. Yeah. They held the date for us, and it worked out. I mean, it worked out perfectly. Yeah. Because we were limited also, because Miranda works in a school. She can only take time off in school holidays. So we were really hoping for that Easter break.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that it worked out.
Yeah. So you guys got married, and then the next part of it was actually applying for the green card. And so you went through all of that, and you recently, literally like last month, had your interview, and you just got your green card in the mail.
We thought we were in the clear. We didn't think we were going to have to go through it.
Because my brother had warned me. He said, you might have an interview, and we'd seen, is it The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah. At
the end of that film where they get interviewed. Yeah. I was thinking, that's what it's going to be like. If we get married, we're going to get interviewed like that, interrogated. Again, that was nothing to be worried about.
Yeah, well, you helped us prepare too, and then, of course, we had all of our documentation in order again.
So when you finally got your green card, Jonny, it's been a while. Well, not a while, but just this was kind of the culmination of everything that, was going on and applying and all of that. And so when you got that card in the mail, how did you feel?
Amazing. Yeah. It was just, it was a huge sense of relief. It's just, exactly. It's just that culmination of 2 years worth of planning to get me here, and actually get me here, the money we spent and everything. Yeah, it was just an incredible feeling. I mean, because one thing a lot of people might not know is if you do come over on the fiancé visa, you can't leave the country unless you apply for special terms. And I hadn't even anticipated that. Not that I wanted to leave, but I hadn't even thought of that. So when the green card comes through, I mean, yes, you do get the travel and the work permit, but it's just a nice feeling to know that you've been accepted into a country where your spouse lives, and you can also move freely now. Not that I tend to leave her for any amount of time, but it's nice that I now can go to any job without worry that they're not going to employ me. I can go back to the UK if anything arrives or happens. But yeah, it was just an incredible feeling, and I've still got it out on the on the side unit. I just keep looking at it.
Yeah. Looking back at the whole process, is there anything that surprised you about it that you weren't anticipating?
Not really. I think everything really went smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly can't imagine anything that gone more smoothly for us because everything stuck to the timeline. Although it felt like forever, the timeline was pretty much spot on from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that took longer was actually getting the green card because we've been married a year and a half now, and he just got the green card. So I think I expected the green card to come sooner after we got married. But of course, like with everything with COVID, like it just prolonged everything a little more.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think the process went pretty smoothly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good. Is there anything that you would tell your past self about it?
Chill hell out. Just chill out and let it happen. It's going to take the time that it takes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't rush it. You can't force it. I'm an overthinker and I'm a worrier, and I worried every single day from the minute we first put the forms in, just that I'd missed something or that we're going to require something. But really, like, we put all our faith in you. We knew what you were doing, and you kept us informed throughout the whole process, and that just made it so much easier. But I would definitely tell myself just to chill out a little bit more. And
yeah,
it's hard though. It's hard when you're anticipating something that you want, right?
It is.
I know. It's easier said than done. That's for sure.
It is, exactly.
So, Jonny, now that you live in the U.S. permanently, obviously you had said that you've visited several times, but now that you're actually living here on a permanent basis, how has it been for you? Is it everything you expected and more?
I mean, the first year was magical because I didn't have to work. So I was a kept man for the whole first year that I was here. So, I mean, what could be better than that?
And we got a dog.
And we adopted a dog. So, yeah, I got to walk a husky every day, which is just a dream life for me. But yeah, I mean, there's certain aspects. I mean, America and UK are so very similar, but there's so many differences at the same time. And it was difficult to start with because I couldn't work. Again, on the flip side of not being able to work is we couldn't afford 2 cars. So I was literally a house husband for a year. And I will admit I did a great job. Like, I am phenomenal at folding clothes now. But that was strange for me, just being housebound and not being able to get anywhere, because in the UK you could literally walk anywhere you wanted to. You wouldn't have to drive, whereas in America you've pretty much got to drive everywhere. But like, living here is incredible. It's a great country. I love it.
What do you miss about your home country?
The pubs. I miss a traditional British pub. The British culture of drinking is one that I started when I was 16 years old. Granted, it was my grandparents that got me drinking. But the British culture to go out and socialise in pubs is something I miss, as well as some typical British pub food. That's the biggest thing I miss, I would say. Yeah.
What's something that you would say would surprise Americans about the UK?
I think most people know everything about the UK.
I don't think so.
One of the things I would tell people who are visiting UK would be to go to the Lake District. Because for whatever reason, every tourist goes to UK, goes to London, and they might go to Scotland, but they'll probably travel straight over to France, or they'll go to the coast. Whereas the Lake District is one of my favorite places in the world. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so it's the same as like the Great Barrier Reef, the Grand Canyon. It's protected, and it's just an incredible area, full of mountains, lakes, wildlife, incredible pubs, beer, and there's just so much to do there, but no one really seems to hear about it, which surprises me. So that's definitely one thing I would say people need to check out.
So Jonny was lucky enough to go there regularly growing up. Like his family and his grandparents would, his parents and grandparents would take them there for, vacations, yearly?
Yeah.
Or more?
More.
It's not that far from his hometown, a couple hours, like through, winding roads, and it's beautiful out there. I had no idea what the Lake District was before I met him. And that was the first place like I went to when I went to the UK. So
it's a hidden gem for some reason.
beautiful.
I don't know why, but no one seems to know about it.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything about the British culture that is starkly different from the American culture?
Is that? I don't really think so. Like I think it's we're very similar people. I think the English are are a lot more reserved. We like to queue politely. We're very quiet in general. But although on the flip side of that is we all like to go to the pub. So that's the only thing I would say is where I've noticed over here, people tend to meet up and meet for coffee and will actually sit down and have a meal. Whereas in the UK, everyone who does that just tends to meet to have a beer. And then that's it.
Yeah.
But culturally, I think everything is very similar, don't you think?
Yeah, I guess so. Like they do like their Sunday afternoon, we would call dinner, like an early dinner. They do like a Sunday tea, they call it, where you either like make a big roast for the family or like you can go out and get it at a pub. That's something that's like
traditional.
Yeah, like every Sunday for the most part.
Yeah. So generally Sundays, it's the same though. Families here get together.
Sunday dinners are kind of similar here, but
it's generally a traditional roast. Yeah, I do miss that. You guys call them popovers. They're actually called Yorkshire puddings. That's where they were made. But I do miss those because every Sunday we would get together. My grandparents would make Yorkshire puddings, fill them full of onion gravy, have a beef roast dinner, and it would just be a family thing. I do miss that. But again, that's not really a cultural thing. Maybe it is.
A little bit.
Yeah. But we're very similar. There's not a huge difference between the cultures, I don't think.
What's the general perception of America? Like, what do the British think of Americans?
To be honest?
Or like, what do they...
Don't shoot the messenger, okay? I think the general is that Americans are loud and obnoxious. But again, I feel like that's because we're so reserved and quiet. But that's the general conception of Americans, I would say. And bad drivers. Which I have to agree with. But loud and obnoxious, I would say, is the biggest thing.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, that's not going to go down well.
No, it's totally fine. So loud and obnoxious.
It's funny though because I've seen it like when I'm out of the country and I'm like, oh yeah, you can tell they're American. I mean, not in every case, but
yeah,
it's different when you're like looking at it from a different perspective too, you know?
Yeah. Now, Jonny, is there anything that surprised you about America that you didn't expect before living here on a permanent basis?
The cost of everything. I had no idea food was so expensive over here. Really? I don't know why, because I've visited so many times, and I guess the exchange rate when I visited, I didn't have to worry about costs. Whereas when my money's actually here, I've realized how much it costs to buy things, like fresh produce especially. I don't understand why it's so expensive. And that's really took me by surprise. And insurance costs, like mobile phones as well. Everything just seems to be more expensive.
That's interesting because I thought that it was very expensive there in the UK.
Yeah, I don't know why people think that. I guess our taxes are quite high, especially if you're a high earner, you get taxed 50%.
Wow.
But fresh produce is way, way cheaper Mobile phone plans are way cheaper. Insurance is way cheaper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Your rent was cheaper than my rent.
Yeah, rent's cheaper.
For a bigger place. He had a bigger place than I did, and his rent was, well, it was probably equal, but with the exchange, but...
Yeah, we've just renewed our house insurance and our car insurance. And apparently there's not really many comparison sites that you can compare insurance and get a cheaper rate. They make it difficult for you to do that, which I find strange. Whereas in the UK, everything is like open. You can compare every insurance you've got. You could buy life insurance for £10 a month. You could get travel insurance cheap, and you can compare rates every single year.
Yeah.
But definitely cost of living is just way higher than I expected.
That's interesting. So, Jonny, do you feel like you feel at home now?
Yeah. Yes and no. I miss certain little things. I miss certain British shows that I can't find on the internet anywhere. Certain British foods. But I definitely, all Miranda's friends and family made me so welcome from the minute I met them before I even moved here, which is why I knew it was going to be so easy.
Yeah.
Because they were so welcoming. But yeah, I definitely feel a part of the country. I've been working here since March when I got my work permit, and obviously you get all the British jokes about drinking tea. Everyone wants to make me cups of tea every day. But apart from that, everyone's been great.
Miranda had said earlier that you had always possibly wanted to live in the US. And why was that?
I think just from visiting from a young age, I came to love the country. I just love the diversity, the vastness, the different areas, different parts of the country. And I'm a big movie buff, so I'd always seen a lot of American movies. And I really just like the idea of living in America. I can't really put my finger on exactly what it was. I just always pictured in my head that I would end up being in America.
Do you think you'd ever move back to the UK?
Yeah, absolutely. The UK is always going to be my home country, so it'll always be in my heart. So I would definitely consider it if things go that way. But right now, our future is definitely in the US.
So when you and Miranda were in talks about, who would move where, and did you ever look into the immigration process in the UK?
Because it became very clear that Miranda wanted me to move here. So I only looked into it briefly, and it seemed like it was very similar to the process I was involved in coming here. She would have had to have applied for different visas and filled out a lot of paperwork, no doubt, like we did. The only thing I do know is that one of my old customers from the UK actually married an American, and they said they were pretty strict with all of the background checks and actually turned up on the day of the wedding to verify they were getting married.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently, somebody turned up on the day of the wedding and started interviewing different people of the party to make sure that it was all legitimate.
Wow. That's pretty crazy. I haven't ever heard of that happening here, but I have heard of officers who will just randomly show up at people's houses and check in and see. Yeah, it hasn't happened to any of my clients, but I've heard of it happening before. When you started looking for jobs here, did you find it to be pretty easy to get a job?
Yes, actually. I mean, I was looking for anything and everything because I'd been a year without being able to work. So I just wanted to start earning as quickly as possible. So I jumped on Indeed and uploaded my CV from the UK, and I got the first job I applied for. I actually got it. I mean, it wasn't in my industry that I'm used to, but at that time, like I say, I just wanted to get some work coming in. So I applied and I got the job straight away. So it was a pretty easy process for me.
Yeah.
So it does seem that there is a lot of availability out there for jobs. I mean, right now, especially with COVID, I'm not so sure on.
And are you still at that job now?
No, I've actually moved on to my old field, so I'm in HVAC.
Oh, in HVAC. Okay.
I was a heating engineer in the UK, so I've got back into that field now.
So then my last question is, what is your favorite thing about America?
Ooh, what would be my
Me.
favorite thing? Apart from you, darling. Of course, you. Possibly, I would say the vastness and the diversity of the country.
Mm.
Because we were lucky enough, we went out west for our honeymoon, and I've always wanted to go to Yosemite, and we got out there, and I was just blown away at just how diverse the whole country was, because we drove from Vegas to San Francisco. Yes, it's all on the West Coast, but yeah, it's just incredible. There's so many different areas, so many different areas to see and explore. I like, as a UK person and being from Europe who's been able to travel so much, I found it mind-boggling that so many Americans didn't have passports. Coming here, I realized why they don't, because you just got so much here that you can go and explore.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do love how big it is and how much area there is, and you just, I don't know.
They're used to small, like their
'cause
houses have like typically smaller gardens. Their yard.
Well, bearing in mind the town I came from was a miners' town.
Mm.
So in miners' towns, we lived in terraced houses, which were just row upon row of streets of houses, both sides of the road, with just alleys. So we were very close together, and that's all I've been all my life. I mean, thankfully, my parents, I was blessed to live in some nice houses, and we had a good-sized garden. But coming over here and just seeing how much land is available and how big and open it is, it's just nice and refreshing.
This is a big country. I haven't even been to as many places as I feel like I should have gone to.
Yeah.
I've been here for almost my whole life. So note to self to go explore more.
Well, that's it. I mean, there's just so much to see and do. How old were you when you came over, Lean?
I was a year old.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah. Came straight to Utah. Been here pretty much my whole life. So yeah. I never went out east until I met my husband. So, well, thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was good to hear your perspective of the whole immigration process and how that was for you, and then learning a little bit more about the UK. So yeah, thank you so much.
No problem.
Awesome.